Yeah, so this is a huge week for markets overall, right? Like you said, Fed meeting on Wednesday. Thursday, we have Apple, Google, and Amazon all reporting earnings after the bell. And then Friday, we have the jobs data. So, I mean, this is one of those crazy weeks where it's going to get wild. The Fed decision is, needless to say, the most important one. They're going to raise by 25 basis points. That's not in question. It's all about what the commentary is going forward.
Is it priced in? Do you think it's going to be a sell the news event? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, it's tricky to know at this point because we still have another day and a half to go until we get that. We're selling off today, which is kind of a positive, actually. The more you sell off, the more likely the markets will snap back. So people essentially are taking profits right now. We've had a big run up in the equity markets, in the stock market, in crypto, and people are saying, wait, listen, I'm up X amount. Why don't I take some off the table? Because you have all these unforeseen possible negatives out there. For instance, Jerome Powell saying something that the market doesn't recognize. So I think the big question is watch what happens into Wednesday. If we rally back up, then I'd be bearish going into this. Yeah, so what you do have, and you're correct, you have this kind of sideways. Now the one negative here is that we had this attempted breakout which occurred on a Sunday. Now, for everyone watching, never trust a crypto move that occurs on a weekend, because you don't have volume there. You can see exactly what happened. Bitcoin had this nice run up, touched kind of 24,000. And then today, markets are open, markets are selling, institutional volumes in there, whale volume, and it comes right back in. So I agree. I think your next stop is right here. You have this pivot low right here and this pivot high. So that's right around 25,000. So that would be, if we continue up, that would be your resistance point. I ultimately am still in the camp that the lows are not in on the crypto market. So I would be kind of in the camp of saying that at some point we will see a big rollover again. Yeah, I mean, between these pivot lows over here, all this here, and then all this sideways chop right here, all of that is just so much major resistance. That will be an epically big resistance level for Bitcoin. Yeah, so for me, there are a couple things that I'm looking at. I would be looking at this area right here. So this is kind of a major, remember, this was your pivot low of 2021 before the second move up. So that's going to be really a lot of resistance. You have this level that we broke down on. So if we got back above this and held above 40,000, then I think you have to say the next run is probably in place for 100,000. And I think 100,000 to me is your next spot. And one of the things I'm looking at here is this trend line right here, right? So wherever this trend line is when Bitcoin gets up there, that to me would be the next resistance of the cycle, right? Connecting these high pivots here. I still have a position long in Bitcoin, right? So the target on that is still 25,000 or so, this resistance level. I do have a position on Polkadot as well, DOT/USD here. And again, same kind of thing. If it gets up into this range here or this area here, I'm going to unload that. Now, I do have short signals out there. One of them is Solana. Solana, I'm in from about $25.50 on the short side. That's in the money a little bit here. And there's just so many resistance levels on Solana right up here. Avalanche, I put out as a sell short yesterday. And again, we're in the money slightly here off of this resistance area here. And then also Ethereum. I actually think that Ethereum very likely topped out when it topped this pivot here. And again, we're short on Ethereum, slightly in the money as well. You can't look like the retail crowd wants to believe that this is 2021 again, and it's going to be everything just going up and up and up and up. But you have to remember things are different. You have a bear market. You have the Fed interest rates at 5%. The Fed is sucking liquidity. So you don't have the same makings. The government's not sending checks. Like in the US, they were sending checks out to us. So there's a lot of differences between now and then. So you can't expect the same result in something like a Tesla or an ApeCoin. Yeah, so Tesla hit some resistance on Friday, which again, it ran up so much, it was due for a pullback. So that was kind of, what to be expected. Now, if it has one more run, the $200 level is going to be a big level right here and these tops right here. A couple other things. I continue to be bullish on natural gas. I got bullish right around $3 on natural gas. It's a little bit below that now. Let me bring it up now here. But I continue to really like this chart. It's just so oversold. You have a mass exodus, right? So basically, when we were trading north of $8 to $10 per cubic foot or whatever they measure a natural gas in, you basically had a scenario where every institution thought this was a no-brainer trade. Everyone thought, no, Europe's going to be in so much trouble, everything like that. And now you're seeing the unwind of that. And that's why this is this oversold. But you are starting to come into some major support right down here, right? All of this consolidation, and you're basically right in that vicinity. So I think this is due for a technical bounce. It's not a long-term investment, but 20, 30% bounce in natural gas to me is a no-brainer. Yeah, so the big question I have, right, is and this is what everyone's been asking, is this a new bullish move in the market? Is there a new bull market on the S&P 500? I personally don't think so. And then the reason why it's not proven yet, and remember, everything we do is chart related, is that so far you have the high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. We haven't made a higher high yet. So as far as I'm concerned, this is a beautiful bear market rally, but it hasn't taken out this pivot high here to tell us that it's anything other than that. And maybe it will on the Fed. We don't know. Maybe later this week it will. Or does it start to roll over? And I eventually think the S&P is coming down to this level down here, and eventually the long-term trend down here. And remember, markets work, and there's some sort of synergy. There's kind of like an equilibrium where when we're above trend for so long, and you can see the above trend, as long as the Fed was printing money, we were always above trend. It makes sense in the very least we have to come back to trend, right? And the trend is right. Yeah, so gold to me is due for a pullback. I mean, this was just a tremendous to the upside. I am not short gold because I love it in the midterm, and maybe short term it's overdone, might pull back here or here, but I'll be buying on dips. So basically, if I'm lucky enough to get back to around 1800 or 18 and a quarter, I will be loading up again. I did take my profits on my swing gold just because it got so extended. But again, these are shorter term trades where I'll just buy on a pullback then.
Plus, you're buying your gold coins like I am.
Yeah, and I do have physical gold, right? I mean, physical gold I'm not selling in these pops. Obviously, that's a longer term. Yeah, so oil's starting to come back down, and really what we can see here is that you got this little potential bearish pattern. I still am in the camp that we're going to come down to about $65 a barrel on oil, probably within the next few months. And it's not that far away now, about $13 away. So I do think that that's going to come down. I think the key catalyst here is we're going to see more and more weakness in the jobs data coming up. We'll see what Friday's obviously says. But I do think that, again, that's going to show that an overall slowdown in the global economy is going to hit the demand curve of oil, and that's going to bring it. Yeah, so the first thing I would say is I agree with you in that, I have Bitcoin slated to bottom this year. Now, again, is that going to be May or June or where not? I mean, we'll find out. Maybe it already bottomed already for all we know. But ultimately, I agree that it is a buy the dip year. It's finally at levels where anything, to be honest, below 20,000 looks interesting. And I think, again, the biggest thing I would say is don't chase it up here. When you have limited upside to 25, maybe 30, just look for pullback. So you don't want to FOMO in. FOMO is like the worst thing. Think about people that FOMO'd in above 60,000 back in 2021. They all got screwed. So think about it. Just buy it on dips. Buy on pullbacks, find your technical levels. Like for me on Bitcoin, a few technical levels to watch would be this. This was the FTX high just before the collapse. We can clearly see that right here, it hit, pulled back, and then broke. So this will be support. Another big level for support would be right in here as well. Yeah. You have this pivot high and these lows. So you have a few levels where if you're saying, okay, I want to buy, but I don't want to pay up here, look for here, and then if it does get all the way down here, you have double bottom.